Yo, what is going on, you guys? This is Gaming with Sal and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I want to go ahead and stay away from the topic of Black Ops 4 for just a second and talk about something else that might also go ahead and spark your interest. And of course, as you guys can tell by the title already and the thumbnail of the video, it's about Modern Warfare 4. Now, before I go ahead and get into what I want to talk about, I just want to address a few things first. Number one, I know Call of Duty 2019 is still far away from happening or let alone getting announced or revealed, and that we also just got Black Ops 4 not too long ago, because trust me you guys, I already know some people are going to be down there in the comment section or sitting there watching the video and saying it in their minds that, you know what, we just got Black Ops 4, why is this guy talking about Modern Warfare 4 or a game that basically doesn't even exist? But hey, just because we got BO4 a couple of months ago doesn't mean we can't speculate what's to come next for Call of Duty, and it for sure doesn't mean that I don't like Black Ops 4, because I really do enjoy BO4, but at the same time I also enjoy speculating stuff like this as well. And then number two, I have been aware that some leaks of Modern Warfare 4 have surfaced the internet for the past couple of days or weeks, and that there's one specific leak that is really getting a lot of attention, because apparently this is a leak that shows Modern Warfare 4 being listed on the official Call of Duty website with the release date of September. Now let me go ahead and just say this right away, they're fake. And that's also why I didn't cover these leaks in a video either, because I had a feeling that it would be fake since it's too early to get any sort of news like that would surround Call of Duty 2019. And if it is legit, well, that's the earliest leak that we've ever seen for a Call of Duty that's set to release the year after that leak came out. So yeah, I really didn't think that it was real. I wish it was, but that's why I didn't really cover it to begin with. However, even though those leaks were fake, this did spark some interest in me to make a video about why Modern Warfare 4 needs to go from just being a rumor to becoming a reality. So finally, without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the three main reasons why Modern Warfare 4 needs to happen. So let's start off with obviously reason number one, and that is the Call of Duty community hasn't seen a modern shooter in such a long time. Let this sink in, you guys. The most recent Call of Duty to release that was a true modern shooter, or at least close to that era, was COD Ghosts, and that game released all the way back in 2013. We are entering 2019 and we still haven't seen a shooter from Call of Duty that took place in the modern era ever since the release of Ghosts. And honestly, just saying that blows my mind, because it's just crazy to see how these past 6 years we've either seen titles that are far into the future or far into the past, and even then it was mostly the futuristic era. With that said, when fans see that the next Call of Duty takes place during a modern time or something close to that in which the world we live in today, it'll be a nice refresher from all of these futuristic and past titles. Plus, when it comes down to it, a modern shooter is probably the best middle ground. And no, not because the era takes place right in between the past and the future eras, but because with a modern shooter you have a bunch of customization within the game while still keeping it true to that era. For example, weapon camos, attachments, certain weapons that might be in prototype, score streaks, etc. This is where something like World War II failed in my opinion, because when it came to customization, World War II somewhat lacked in that department, at least when it first launched, of course. As of right now, the game does have a bunch of customization in it, in which some of it has nothing to do with the World War II era. But like I said earlier, a modern shooter doesn't have a problem when it comes to something like this. And then when it comes to something like a futuristic title, well, we probably won't see anything like the specialists here in Black Ops 4 when it comes to that modern shooter, in which some people are actually getting tired of. So pretty much like I said, a modern shooter will be the perfect balance between something like the futuristic era in the past and basically everything else that goes into making a Call of Duty title. Next up, reason number two, players will feel more connected to a modern era COD than any other era. When it comes to stuff like maps, weapons, and streaks in a Call of Duty game, well, these are the three main things that can determine whether or not the Call of Duty title will be successful. Of course, balancing should also be a priority, but aside from that, these three are the certain things that need to be top-notch for that Call of Duty game to work well. However, when they start going into these futuristic eras or maybe the past, sometimes things can get a little too crazy or just seem way too unrealistic, and it kind of takes away from the experience. For example, as fun as it was to use something like the Wraith or the Wraps from Black Ops 3, those streaks will never be as memorable than something like the AC-130, the Chopper Gunner, or the Attack Dogs. Those streaks will always hold a special place in any longtime Call of Duty player's heart, not only because they were powerful and effective streaks, but also because of how relatable they are. We've all seen a helicopter in real life before, or have heard or maybe even seen video footage of people in the army actually using an AC-130 in real life. But no one has ever seen something like Wraps fall from the sky and just take an enemy out. You know what I mean? Like, that's never happened before, and it will most likely never happen for a very, very, very long time, if there was even any potential in making a deadly weapon like that. When streaks start to become a little too out there or fall back on science fiction a little too much, like I said, kind of takes away away from the experience a little bit, and it ends up not working out that well amongst the players. Same thing goes for weapons. Here in Black Ops 4, we have weapons like the ICR and the Rampart, but I don't know about you guys, whenever I see these weapons as a longtime Call of Duty player, I see them as Black Ops 4's M4A1 or the Scar H. And for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, well, these two are weapons from the modern era COD titles, such as Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, that look similar to something like the ICR and the Rampart here in BO4. But you see how once again I reference back to a modern shooter, and I don't remember these weapons just because they were part of the Modern Warfare franchise. That's a whole different story, but it's also because once again these weapons are relatable. They exist in real life. They perform just like their real life counterparts. And when you can go ahead and see a weapon or a streak that you know you can see in real life as of today within a modern shooter such as a Call of Duty title, I don't know, to me that just goes ahead and enhances the gameplay experience and makes it more special in that way. But once again, that's just me. Now finally, for reason number 3, the franchise's history will be the push that Infinity Ward desperately needs. And let me go ahead and explain about this one. I know for the last 2 reasons, I talked about how the idea of a modern shooter would help more than just the name Modern Warfare, but let me go ahead and bring that up for this final point. Modern Warfare is probably hands down the best trilogy within the Call of Duty franchise in regards to its storyline and the world that it has created. Some can argue that gameplay wise, Modern Warfare 3 wasn't really all that great, and that Black Ops did a much better job in that department all across the board within its own series, but once again, we can go back and forth with that all day long. However, Infinity Ward and what they did with Modern Warfare, like I said, from a storytelling perspective, it was so good and so powerful that it actually carried throughout the multiplayer. For example, when you heard Gaz's voice as an announcer in Modern Warfare 1's multiplayer or Ghost in Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer, you remembered them from the campaign, and not just remembered them, but were excited to actually hear their voices because of what they reminded you that happened within the storylines of those games. Like honestly, I don't remember any other Call of Duty title being able to do that. So just like how Black Ops 4 was announced and people were like, oh, why Black Ops 4? Wasn't 3 of them good enough? Well, the answer to that question was that the name was going to help sell the game, and the same thing can go for Modern Warfare 4. Plus, like I said earlier, this is the break that Infinity Ward needs, because let's be honest, with COD Ghosts and Infinite Warfare, yeah, those were 2 titles that were probably the most disliked ones within the couple of years for the Call of Duty franchise, and they were both made by Infinity Ward. So if you were to ask me, yeah, they need something that they can push out that will guarantee fans to give them a 3rd try again. Plus, news also came out that the original members of Infinity Ward who worked on games like Modern Warfare 1 and 2 have returned to the studio after many years, so I guess why not take advantage of that and make Modern Warfare 4, right? But only time will tell what's actually going to happen. But for now, those are the 3 main points that I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys of why I believe Modern Warfare 4 needs to happen. So with that said, I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys want Modern Warfare 4 to happen? Why or why not? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below if you guys would like to share them. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed today's video, please go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon so you'll never miss an upload, and follow me on my social media accounts to stay connected. Links will always be in the description below. And until next time, take care of yourselves and bye.